Hello, welcome to today's yoga teachings. In this session we are focusing on the traditional practice of sun salutations. And there are many different ways to do sun salutations. As yoga has evolved, there have been many new variations that have come over the years. But there is a traditional way to practice this technique that comes from the ancient teachings, the Vedic teachings, as it relates to actually worshiping the sun. And as we know, the sun is the center of our solar system and it is the source of our life. So all the ancient traditions around the world have had this aspect of worshiping the sun for the power that it gives all of our lives. Now, as we work through this lecture, we're going to talk about the fact that we have the body, and these physical movements are related to the health of the spine, which of course, when we bend the spine forward and back, massages the spine. And remember, our spine is the most important part of our practice, most important physical aspect in our practice, because it houses our nervous system, it affects the mind, but it also holds this central channel, Sushumna Nadi, which is our biggest channel of energy, which flows through at the subtle level. Now, when we work with moving the spine forward and back through this practice, it's very powerful starting to open this channel. And as we do this, we are also doing a breathing. And as we move through this sequence, we are actually doing what we have is called pranayama. And pranayama is helping to work with that life force. And as we move through this practice, we have visualization. So typically when you go into a modern yoga class, they're not actually going into the deep meditative aspect of sun salutations. It's more of a physical warm-up, and it's an excellent physical warm-up. But there is a deeper practice that I want to share with you so that you can understand and even get the value out of going into not only the physical body, but also the energy, the emotions, the mind, and opening the chakras, which relate to all the levels of our consciousness. And as you do this practice, you have a visualization of a color of each of the chakras. So each posture, of which there are 12 postures in this sequence, has a specific color that you visualize at the level of that chakra. And what this does is it brings your mind very focused, because not only are you focusing on your breath, you're also visualizing. And in addition to that, we have a mantra for each of the 12 postures. And these mantras are related to the names of the sun, the traditional Vedic names from the sun out of India, ancient times, and they're related to the different aspects of the power of the sun. Now, when we are using the mantra, this is related to our hearing. So you can see you have physical movement, you have breathing, visualization, and you're speaking a mantra out loud. And this starts to bring all of the rays of attention into one place, because this is the real goal of the practice, of all yoga practice, is to get that mind in one point, to be present. And that's really all that this whole science is about. How do we live in this present moment? And through doing the sun salutations, you're incorporating the body, the breath, the visualization, and the hearing. So all of these 4 rays of attention are focused on one thing. And this is how we become present through our practice. And as we train our mind to be present through this practice, we start to develop a skill of being present. And then we take that skill off the mat into our lives, and we live present throughout our day. And this is how we empower ourselves through the science of yoga to live a better life. Not just have a better yoga practice and get stronger and more flexible, but how do we work with our mind, our emotions, and our energy so that when we move through life, we are moving from a place of balance, harmony, and inner peace. So it's much more than just a physical practice. You'll hear me say this many times throughout the lectures, but I really want you to understand that the depth of yoga is so profound, and we're really only touching a little bit if all we do is a physical practice. Now, as we do this, we're doing every movement with the breath, with the visualization, and the prayer, and the mantra, and we start to connect to the 12 Vedic names of the sun. As I already mentioned, I'm going through my notes here and making sure I cover everything. But it becomes a complete practice. It's a complete, what we call sadhana, a spiritual practice. Because not only are you doing something physical, you're also linking your mind to the source of life through the mantra and through the visualization. And let's say you have the physical, the pranayama, the chakra awareness, the mantra repetition, and the meditation now. So you see, it's a complete practice, as everything that you would do in a 2-hour yoga practice in just these 12 rounds of the sun salutations. Now, it stretches and massages all the muscles, the vital organs, the physical parts of the body, and it stretches the spinal column. So I'm being a little bit repetitive here because I really want you to hear this message about all the different parts of this technique and how powerful it is. And we understand that as we worship the sun, we start to come into harmony with the rhythms of nature. And this is very important because our biorhythms should be in harmony with the rhythm of nature. We are diurnal creatures, meaning that we are awake during the day and sleeping at night. And many times when we're living in the city, we get disconnected from this natural rhythm. And we stay up very late, and we get up very late in the morning. And so we start to wonder, why am I tired all day? Well, it's because we're not in harmony with the rhythm of nature. And if we start to do sun salutations in the city even, wherever you live, you can bring your biorhythm into harmony with the rhythms of nature. So it's a very deep practice even at that level, like the cosmic level. You are connecting your microcosm of this being to the macrocosm of the universe. The idea is to perform these 12 postures in a steady, rhythmic way. And this reflects the rhythm that we go through. 24 hours in the day, and there are 12 postures that relate to the 12 zodiac signs. So you can see that everything is connected through this one practice. That's how deep it is. And it starts to help us to awaken the solar aspect within our own being. That means we have different chakras, and they're related to different elements. The first 5 chakras are related to the 5 elements of the universe that create nature and this manifest world that we are living in. The first chakra is related to the earth element, the second to the water element, the third chakra at the level of the navel is related to fire, the fourth chakra at the level of the heart is related to air, and this 5th chakra at the level of the throat is related to ether. So these things that construct and compose our own body are coming from the macrocosm of the universe, and there is a way through our yoga practice to actually connect and to amplify our connection to all of these energies of the universe. And through this practice, it's sun salutations. The sun is a big ball of fire, and that is related to our navel chakra. And we all need a strong navel chakra because this is related to our willpower, our dynamism, our ego, our strength of drive and personality. So when we relate to the fire through the sun salutation practice, we can give ourselves more power. It's a very heating practice, and the heat is actually purifying. It's cleansing the physical body, but it's also cleansing the energy channels known as the nadis. 72,000 nadis throughout this energy body. And remember that yoga talks about 5 bodies. We have the physical body, this one, very easy to see and work with, but we also have the subtle dimensions of our being, the energy body. And when we do pranayama, when we do things that work with the energy, we start to balance the energy body. And that's one of the main goals of Hatha Yoga, balancing the sun and the moon, the lunar and the solar energies, the masculine and feminine within our own self. And by working with this Hatha Yoga practice, it's not about only physical stretching and strength, it's about the energy. You're going deeper into the understanding of the science when you start to work directly with your energy. And the reason we want to do this is because the energy body, that subtle vibration that is more subtle than the physical body, actually controls the physical body. It's not the other way around. The physical body is not controlling the energy body. So this is why things like pranic healing, energy healing, Reiki, acupuncture, these things help to heal the physical body because they balance the energy. So please understand this point very well. It's the energy body, I'm saying it again, that actually controls the physical body. So the practice of Hatha Yoga works directly with the energy body. When you put your body into different postures through yoga, you're creating an energetic effect. This was the true intention, the original intention of why the yogis were doing the Hatha Yoga practice. So as we revitalize that solar energy, it becomes an amazing purification practice as well. And as we go deeper into the practice, you start to feel that you become the flow. Now, no longer is it a mental thought. This is the goal of yoga as well. Not only in Hatha Yoga are we balancing the energy, when we balance the energy, that begins to balance the mind because the thoughts, the mind are directly connected to that energy. And so as we balance the energy, the mind becomes calmer. And this is the true gift that Hatha Yoga has for us. Rather than just trying to sit in meditation and stop the mind or focus on the universe, as Patanjali recommended, the great sage who wrote the Yoga Sutras, his advice was to close the eyes and focus on the infinite. Well, that might not be so easy for us in this modern world. So what came later in the evolution of yoga is this idea of working with the energy first, and then the mind can become more stable. So I want to leave you with this to understand that I will give another practice and I will teach you how to do the sun salutations with the 12 movements, with the breathing pattern, with the visualization at the different levels of the chakras, the color, and with the mantras. The mantra is saying a name, a Sanskrit vibration is created by this sound that we produce, and that sound actually has an effect at the level of our consciousness, because Sanskrit is comprised of different letters and sounds that are the building blocks of consciousness. So when we work with the mantras of Sanskrit, we're actually working with the foundations of our own consciousness. That's why it's such a powerful science that helps us to change our level of consciousness, to balance our mind, to balance our energy, simply by stating out loud or internally certain words or sounds. And we'll have another lecture that I hope you take a look at, all about mantra. But let's just leave you here with the understanding that this is a holistic practice. And it doesn't take very long. So if you only have 15 minutes in the morning, this helps you to step into a state of meditation that also works on your health of your physical body. It also helps to balance your emotions, your energy, and your mind. I think by now you understand what I'm trying to say. It's a really powerful practice. I encourage you to try it. And if you bring this into your life every morning, you finish that practice and you're ready, powerful for the entire day. So thank you for joining us. Wish you all the luck with your practice.